Hello everyone and welcome to another spooky Saturday. The final one for this month, I believe. We faced the horrors of Jump Scare last week, we faced Death Toll, and we faced the enchantment deck, Miracle Worker. And now, after delving deep into Duskmourn Manor, we finally face the final boss. Endless Punishment, Valgavoth, the Harrower of Souls. Now this deck has had a lot of news on it. A lot of the community really love it. It's a red-black, so you know that damage is going to be dealt severely, quickly, and with no mercy. As soon as this was revealed, a lot of people were saying, yeah, this deck is the top one out of the precon. And I would be inclined to agree, to be fair. I bought my partner a copy of this deck, and they absolutely love it. They love not only the sort of moth-like aesthetic, but the way this plays is very aggressive. You can't really stop for a second. You have to just beat them and keep beating them. Don't give them a chance. So, without further ado, we're going to see the reason why this is the final boss at the end of Duskmourn Manor. So on the back, obviously, is Valgavoth, Harrower of Souls. You know the deal. Arch enemy card, your secondary commander being the Lord of Pain. Like I said, this deck is stupidly good in the right hands. This comes with obviously your 10 arch enemy cards, your precon, your collector's booster. Wonder what we're going to pull today. And basically, yeah, all the gubbins. So, let's get this open and see what's inside. So, of course, we have our arch enemy cards, the precon deck, our little poster telling us how to play, and our deck box and collector's booster. The tokens we have for our locked doors are nice purple and red, very ominous. And then we've got different colour for tokens. Normally they're green, but this one is a nice black with green highlight. Very cool. So let's get that out of the way. So let's do the arch enemy cards first. So we are getting closer to Halloween, I believe. It's Thursday, I believe. So I hope you're ready for whatever comes your way on that fateful night. We have, when will you learn that your actions have consequences? My crushing masterstroke. Fear my authority. Reality is mine to control. Looks like different art actually. I think we've had that card, but just different art. I like the twisted mirror type. Running is useless. You exist only to amuse. Very graphic novel inspired. I call for slaughter. I will savour your agony. And I believe... no, not lastly, we should look at the cards. Your nightmares are delicious. I believe the final card is on the back of the box. No secret is hidden from me. Now I quite like the fact that the back has more of the original Magic format. It's very cool. But arch enemy cards are all well and good, but it's not quite the heart of these reviews that I suppose people decide to watch. Obviously, we'll be looking at the precon very shortly, but as we all know, in terms of process and repetition, get this poster open. The big old Mothman that isn't Fallout. I do like the design of his character. It's very cool. There's a little bit about him as a character. How to play the deck. Basically it's a red-black, so you know how that goes. Deal damage and keep doing damage. Don't let people get life. This one is, I believe, meant to be played with the arch enemy deck best. Makes sense because this is the only deck. I get out of the way. This is the only deck that has 2 antagonist commanders, I believe. Then obviously you've got your little deck box. It's nice that they always include a deck box. Not everyone can afford the typical deck boxes, although to be honest, you know, £7-8 on Amazon for a decent 1 deck size is not too bad really for if you're starting out. And then we've got our lovely collector booster sample pack. So let's see what we get. So I always feel that that looks like Edge Runners. Cyberpunk Edge Runners, that was a good series. So first off, ooh, okay, so we have a shiny, ooh, raging furnace, roaring furnace, and steaming sauna. You can see all the ghost apparitions here, and I do like the art style when they do the alt art. That's cool. And then for our second card, got a shiny Midnight Mayhem. So that's not bad. That's pretty good. Now the little taster is out of the way. I think it's time we got to the real boss, and that is Valgavoth. So, you know the drill. 3, 2, 1. So, here is the majesty of the big boss deck. So we've got our, don't need that. We've got our 2, there we go, 2 commanders. Lord of Pain and Valgavoth, Harrower of Souls. So, everyone pretty much knows the drill with Valgavoth at this point. He's a flying, a ward, pay 2 life to attack him. Whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during each of their turns, put a +1/+1 on Valgavoth. Draw a card. Being a 4 cost isn't too bad. Can't really get him out too early in the game, but then once he's out, he's going to be very difficult to put down unless you've got Exile or anything that can counter his summoning. We next have the Lord of Pain, an excellent card to combo with this deck. Hands down, run this with Valgavoth because they combo off each other really well. He's got Menace, opponents can't gain life And whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to the chosen player. So that one really is a pass around sort of thing. You put this with Screaming Nemesis and you're going to be big threat, very big threat. Because Screaming Nemesis is, if it gets attacked, the opponent that attacked it cannot gain life for the rest of the game, which is really nasty, to be honest, but worth it. So, yes, this one is very much a share the pain kind of style. Love the artwork though, it is amazing. So, pop those to one side. Let's see what we've got. So for our tokens we have, there we go, better look, Human Soldier and Scarecrow, Devil and Scarecrow, Devil, Scarecrow, Devil, Devil. Okay, these are all pretty much going to be Devil and Scarecrows. That's a lot of Devils. I suppose that's to go with Arch Enemy as well. Well, that was a very quick token review. We have Persistent Constrictor. So this deck is very much a don't give a chance for your opponent to gain life, and don't give your opponent any breathing space, practically. You would almost call it a very constricting, like claustrophobic deck, sadistic shell game, where this is perfect for group games, because the more players you have, the worse it's going to be for them. It's a suspended sentence. It also stands on its own for 1v1. It's not as strong in 1v1, much like gold decks and things like that, but it is a lot of fun. You can swap out so much with this. I mean, as a standalone, you can just leave it as is. If you want to really bring the pain, there are plenty of cards in the set that you can throw in that will just make everyone hate you at the table. Barb Flare Gremlin. One such that I can think of that I've got in my red-black deck is Maddening Hex, which is basically pass round at random, can never come back to you. Anyone that has the Hex that casts a non-creature spell that turn, rolls a d6, whatever it lands on, they take that much damage, then you pass it to another opponent at random. Gleeful Arsonist. Which, when you have enchantment heavy decks, I mean, it'd be a very good foil to Miracle Worker. Possibly Jump Scare, although didn't get too much. I played against a guy yesterday who had the Jump Scare precon, and he was more getting creatures out because it's more of a green heavy deck, to be fair, but it's very, like I say, very nasty. Spiked Corridor and Torture Pit. Star Athlete. I love the art that Duskmourn does. People are going to hate me, but I gave Bloomborough a bit of a miss. That was more my partner's demographic. I know they go, oh, but they got fantastic reprints of cards. Great, I like it, but I wasn't going to spend too much money on that. I was saving up for Duskmourn, and as soon as Duskmourn's come out, I don't really like horror that much, and yet this would scream the complete opposite, because it is just really fun. I do enjoy analog horrors like Magnus Archives. I've yet to give Welcome to Night Vale a shot. and like podcasty type horrors, things that feel a bit real but also within the realms of fiction. Seance board. My partner and I are massive fans of Magnus Archives and Protocol. And one day we would love to road trip all the locations that they reference in TMA, which would be amazing. Actually, one of the episodes was where we live, which is in Somerset, and that was quite a shock, but a pleasant one. Nice to get some representation. Bedevil, Mogus, God of Slaughter. So that was quite funny. I was playing against my partner with this, and they had Mogus, Valgavoth, and I think it was Star Athlete. Well, Mogus was indestructible, and Valgavoth was giving me a problem anyway, and it says deals 2 damage to that player unless they sacrifice a creature. So I was taking damage. Valgavoth was getting stronger, and then I put Dictate of Erebus out because it's in my Mirko deck, which meant that every time I had a creature destroyed, my opponent would have to kill a creature. Now, Mogus was indestructible, which means that couldn't go, but Valgavoth wasn't indestructible, so I ended up getting rid of that problem. Which is quite fun. It's a good way of getting around things, that if they're going to hit you, destroy your creatures, then you got to have something in your bag to be like, right, you're killing my creatures, that's fine. I'm going to make your life hell because you've destroyed my creatures. Braids, Arisen Nightmare. Decree of Pain. Fate Unraveler. Kedirect Parasite. The Mask of Grizzlebrand. Massacre Girl, she's popped back up again. She was in Call of Mana, I believe. She's probably been in previous sets, but it's always good to see her again. Massacre Worm, staple of any black deck. Nightshade Harvester. Blasphemous Act. Brash Taunter. So a lot of these cards are very much, you know, you deal damage to me, I'm going to hit back at you. You kill my monsters, I'm going to hit back at you. I put down a creature, you're going to take life. Chaos Warp. Combustible Gear Hulk. Enchanter's Bane. Harsh Mentor. Rampaging Ferocidon. A lot of players can't gain life cards in here. Tectonic Giant. Florian Voldaren Scion. Kavak the Merciless. Oh, Rakdos is in here, nice. I have the Thunder Junction variant of him. Can't cast a spell unless the opponent has lost life this turn. Flying and Trample, creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. For each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. Oh, I might have to switch out my Redcus with that one, but he does have a pretty good effect. He has indestructible. My one, I sacrifice another creature, tap him, becomes indestructible till end of turn. But that is pretty good as well. Spiteful Visions. Camera just bipped out there a sec. Stormfist Crusader. Theatre of Horrors. Oh, Vile Smasher the Fierce. Has partner, which is a shame because if I had Vile Smasher with partner in the Thunder Junction, then I could have had these two. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, choose the opponent random, deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to that player or planeswalker that player controls. Oh, that's fun. But I can't have him replace my Vile Smasher because I built my whole deck around its effect. Oh dear. Which is the whole deals 1 damage every time to opponent every time you have an outlaw on your side of the field or battlefield. So I've put new cards in like Oja, which means that when that effect pops off, it would be a minimum of 4 damage because it's less than Oja's power. I've put Thermo Alchemist. Tap to deal 1 damage to opponent, which again with Oja does that. And then I put Alexis Deimos from Assassin's Creed into the so that not only with Maddening Hex, you've also got the, as we call it in my other group, the pass around himbo, getting stronger and never being able to attack you. So yeah. Basilisk Collar. Solemn Simulacrum. Which was funny because last night I was playing my red-black deck and I'm at a local activity centre, which is funny enough where my charity event that I'm running is going to be held at this Sunday, so hopefully that'll go well. But I put the Alexis Deimos on the field and then said, right, I'm off to get my food order from downstairs. I was gone for like 2 minutes. I come back and Deimos was already dead, and I'm like, what happened to my boy? I left my child for 2 minutes and he's dead. And they were like, yeah, he got passed around to the third player. The third player attacked the Eldrazi because he has to attack, and that didn't go down too well. I was like, oh. Blackcleave Cliffs, Canyon Slough, Dragon Skull Summit. Obviously you got your Exotic Orchard for plain. Oh no, add 1 mana. Forbidden Ruins, I've got the Doctor Who variant of that, it's really nice. Graven Cairns. Shadowblood Ridge, Shivan Gorge, Smouldering Marsh, Spine Rock Knoll, Sulphurous Springs, Temple of Malice, Witch's Clinic. So I've got the 5 colour commander I pulled in Duskmourn, and I really want to do a TMA themed like Fears, Avatar Fears deck with it, if it works. Fear of Burning Alive is fun. dealing 4 damage to each opponent. Might swap out something in my deck for that one. Grab the prize. The problem is I've got to try and keep my red-black very outlaw, umbrella themed heavy, so that I can still do chip damage. Terramorphic Expanse. Blood Pact. Very cool. The Bloodseeker. Feed the Swarm. Yeah, in my deck I've got a lot of like combo stuff, like I said, with Oja, dealing damage, non-combat damage. And then to top it off, I put Grievous Wounds in my deck. So the only problem is, if I ran blue, I could have a card to copy spells and enchantments, and then I could just pass Grievous Wound to pretty much everyone else on the table. And unfortunately, it's only red-black, so power can only be so much. Obviously, your Arcane Signet looking really good. I love how they've done it with these, this set. Lightning Greaves. Soul Ring is one of my favourite art, like a cursed mirror. Yeah, so I've really made it into a horrible damage dealer deck. It's just trying to get it right. We're getting there. I did better last night with the changes than I did previously. Command Tower. A Bastion of Remembrance. Blood Artist. A lot of siphoning type abilities here. Gaining, and when an opponent loses life, you gain life. Falconwrath Noble. Grey, Merchant of Asphodel. Infernal Grasp. Morbid Opportunist. Sign in Blood. Sir Conrad the Grim. Light Up the Stage. Carder Doom Scourge. Mayhem Devil. Another Radcross card. Rakdos Charm, sorry. Oh, that's nasty. Red-black. Either exile target player's graveyard, destroy target artifact, or each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. Honestly, the exiling target player's graveyard would be fantastic for late game, especially if you have graveyard heavy decks. Fellwar Stone. The Mind Stone. Better art than the one that looks like a brain, like a stone brain. I think that's from the Ixalan set artwork. Rakdos Signet. Talisman of Indulgence. Thought Vessel. Basically an artifact version of Reliquary Tower. Ash Barrens. Bloodfell Caves. Evolving Wilds. Geothermal Bog. Leech-ridden Swamp. I'm going through all the lands at the moment. Tainted Peak. Temple of the False God. And then obviously, I shan't go through them all. It's very Coraline feeling, the swamp, to be honest. But but you've got your mountains and your swamps. And that's the deck, basically. Honestly, I would say that this, from playing against it, with someone who is learning the ropes with these, it's very clear that this knows why it's a problem. It knows it's the problem at the table. You play this right and you are going to basically have everyone by the jewels, and you're going to be squeezing it pretty tight, to be fair, with the playstyle on this, because there's a lot of cards in here that siphon life, which means that you can gain it, so you can sacrifice it when you lose life to draw cards, do effects, things like that. The fact that your opponents will not be able to gain life, especially with Lord of Pain, like I say, even if you say swap out Sir Conrad the Grim for Screaming Nemesis, I know it's swapping a black for a red, but the more you have where your players will not be able to gain life, the better chance you will have of controlling the board. Yes, that will make you the threat, but if you're going to be a threat, make them know, show them why you're the threat at the table. This is a boss deck, and by God, you're going to make it a boss deck. It would need minimal changes, but it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem at the table. I would say out of the 4 decks, you would have top of the list. Obviously, it's going to have to be Unending Nightmare or Endless Punishment. I know that's going to be very much a comment that is, yeah, we all know that, Einstein. Next, I would say is the enchantment deck, Miracle Worker. After that, I would say Jump Scare, because that has good land ramp, very good effects for building up defense, while also getting a drop on your opponent. I will say Death Toll will have to be last on the matter, because it just didn't seem to... It felt like the Mirko deck from Karl of Mana, the Obsessive Theorist, but with added tokens. I could be wrong, could be a little bit better than that, but despite Winter being the almost poster boy on the box, I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not feeling his playstyle. Compared to these are, it's almost a full set of solid precons that you can just pop out and use. Miracle Worker managed to completely undermine everyone's expectations, because they thought, oh well, it's not that good. As soon as people started playing it, wow, this thing kicks ass, and it kicks it hard. By turn 5, you've got a full board, you've locked down your opponents, you are, yeah, it's nasty. Yes, I would definitely rate this on the top. Even for dissection, although at the price that they're selling for nowadays, it's not really a price that you would want to spend, like 70-80 quid just for dissecting. If you can get it at retail value, I would implore it, because otherwise it's just crazy. You could get 2 precons for the price that it's going for now. I don't think it justifies the price rise. I think that it should be accessible to anyone, personally, because otherwise it feels very much like a pay to win. I know there's 2 sides to that story, but I think that it should be fair, because it's not necessarily, you can have the best cards in the world, if you don't know how to play it, that's it, you lose. But yeah, I can't recommend it enough, to be honest. On a side note, because this video has been more focused on the cards than it has anything else, Nightmare bundles, the TV box ones, honestly, picked up a couple, one for me and my partner. I think they're pretty good. Some people are a bit like, it's more expensive than a bundle, you don't get as much. You get 2 collector boosters, which are usually roughly 20 quid each anyway for a booster, give or take. A glow-in-the-dark spin dome, which, you know, it's a spin dome, but it looks really nice. You get some posters, which is appreciated. You get 2 promo cards. You get a movie poster style and the one that's made by the Goosebumps artist. A really cool little lenticular in the TV thing that you can take out. Honestly, I would love to 3D print a Duskmourn TV box, deck box, and then be able to slot that lenticular in, because, don't get me started. But that would be amazing. I think they're alright. I wouldn't binge buy them like I tend to with bundles, because bundles are just easier for having the boxes to put loose cards in, trades, lands, things like that you don't mind getting knocked around a bit, and you're paying for storage as well. But for an occasional, like, a gift or something like that, I'd say, yeah, it's alright. You don't get as much in terms of booster packs, but you get collector packs, which are going to have a nicer pull than boosters. You don't get collector packs often, which, you know, you might pull something really expensive. I'm not that kind of person, but, you know. But yes, overall, I think it's kind of a neat little bundle. It's very thematic, and at the end of the day, you get some cool free stuff with it. And if you like posters, lenticulars, or anything that's kind of creepy and fun for novelty, by all means, I'd say it's worth the price of admission, even if you just get the one. But yeah, so all in all, this has been Spooky Saturday. We've encountered the bosses, and I'd say with that deck alone, you'd be lucky to make it out with your life total more than 1. This truly is the reason why this is the boss deck. There may be a point in time when we playtest these decks. Maybe we do the arch enemy, try that. Not sure how that would go about with recording setup and filming, but I'm sure maybe we could try something down the line. But for now, this has been the final Spooky Saturday for the month of October 2024, and all I can say is, stay safe, stay spooky, and above all else, just have a really good time. Happy Halloween, folks. Hopefully you don't pull something crap in your Halloween collector packs.